Good afternoon, students. We'll continue with our topic. So, in the last topic, we had completed till file backup, but some part of file backup was remaining. So, file system backup is in two types, that is physical dump and logical dump. When we say physical dump, it begins at block 0 of the disk and writes all the disk blocks onto the output tape in order to bring to an end when it is copied the last one. So it starts from block 0, whereas logical dump begins at one or more identified directories. It recursively dumps all files and directories found there that are modified since some given base date. Thus in a logical dump, the dump tape gets sequence of carefully identified directories and files, which makes it simple to reinstate a specific file or directory upon demand. So your normal physical dump, what it does is it just writes over the disk blocks onto the output tape order and brings to an end when it is copied, when it has copied the last one. This is unused disk blocks cannot be skipped. So every block in physical dump cannot be skipped. You have to just go through the path and just start wherever it is ended. A special care should be taken for bad blocks during dumping. So physical dump, as it starts with 0, you have to take care of the things, because if there is an empty block, then that could create a problem for dumping the values. Whereas logical dumping, here if we see, logical dumping is just the random creation of values wherein you can put, as well as it reinstates a specific file or directory on demand. So every file, if you want a specific file of blocks, you can remove it from it, as well as it modifies given on the base date. So the main constraint required here for logical dumping is the date. Next is file system consistency. When we say that file system is there, you should have a consistent data storing for a particular file to be in a logical value. So if the system collapses before all the modified blocks have been written out, the file system goes in an inconsistent state. So if all the modification is not been written out onto the blocks, if the system collapse, that is nothing is happening further, what can be done? It can go in an inconsistent state. Values can be randomly generated. In such blocks are inode blocks, directory blocks, or blocks containing a free list. Then problem becomes serious. If any of these blocks, like these blocks, are there, then what happens is, if they are not arranged properly, and if they have inodes as well as directory blocks in them, and they have blocks containing free list of space also, then it could be a problem more which cannot be handled. Many system handle file system inconsistency with utility programs that run when system is booted after a crash. So if system crashes, and once the system is booted after the crash, Unix has FSCK and Windows has ScanDisk utility for this purpose. So certain programs are being developed with inconsistency of files to be handled, and those have names. Unix has FSCK and Windows has ScanDisk utility. Consistency can be checked on blocks and files. So consistency is to be checked on blocks as well. So checking for a block consistency, for checking such block consistency, what we have to do is, we have to, the program constructs two tables. So there are a construction of two tables. Every table contains a counter for each block. So counter value will be there for each block in the beginning of set 0. So every beginning counter will be set 0, if you can see here, as well as counter number here above is also 0, that every counter value, that is a sequence value, starts with 0. The counter in the first table keep track on the number of times each block is present in a file, and the counters in the second table record how frequently each block is present in the free list or the bitmap of free blocks. So the first, this line is identification of keeping track of the number in the each block which is present is coming how many times in that counter series, as well as the second line which is there is showing that same number how many times it is appearing in the free block range as well. The program then reads the all inodes. Now after these the attributes will be read from the inodes, and initiating from an inode it is possible to construct a list of complete block numbers used in a resultant file. So with these inodes it could be easy for countering the list of free space or the blocks which are actually accumulated with these block numbers or files. The counter in the first table is incremented as reading of each block proceeds. So after each and every block proceeds, reading is done, it increments, and the program then examines the free list or bitmap to search all the blocks that are not in use. So after that the program will search for free list, so whichever program is not in use, for that each occurrence of block in the free list results in its counter in the second table being incremented. So every countering of incrementing will be reflected in the free block of the values. The file system checker also checks the directory system. Now here the file system checker will also check the directory system. It also uses a table of counters, but these are as per the file. So they also have a counter table, these values table, and but that is as per the demand of the file instead of per block. So instead of checking for each and every block, they go for a whole file. It begins at the root directory. So these countering begins in the root directory and recursively go down the tree, and by recursively means one after the another, it goes on for that whole hierarchy of the root directory, examining each directory in the file system. So it examines each and every file system. For each file in every directory, it increases the counter for that file usage count. So for file usage count, it will increase the counter, that is by 1 or whatever the value is. Remember that due to hard links, a file may appear in 2 or more directories. Hard links means if there are multiple copies of that file, it will be shown into the hard links. Symbolic links do not count and do not cause the counter for the target file to be incremented. Symbolically linking, as I had explained what is link. So if one file is there in 2 or 3 different directories, that is called as link. So if linking is there between 2 or more directories, that is not reflected in the incrementation, but it is shown in the hard link format. After it finishes, it has a list indexed by inode number, indicating number of directories containing each file. So it will also show how many directories have how many files into it, as well as these count starts at 1 when the file is created and are incremented each time in the link made to the file. So these count starts with not with 0, it starts with 1, and those files are reflected by a link whenever it increments. In a consistent file system, both counts will be the same. If consistency is there, if consistent file system is there, both the counts, that is initial count and the final count, will be the same. Next is file system performances. So when file system performances are checked, there are 3 various optimizations which are done. First one is caching, second one is block read ahead, and third one is reducing disk arm motion. So these are the 3 things which will be going. First one is caching, that is buffering the data, so that once buffering is done, you can check the relatable data and you can process the data more, so that output can be given faster and there is nothing in the caching things pending, so that it does not affect your hardware somewhere. So what is caching? Block cache or buffer cache is the most general technique used to minimize disk access. Rather than keeping the disk busy, what we can do is we can go for caching method, that is processing and leaving the blocks. That is there are 2 types in that, block cache and buffer cache. So basically, buffer cache can be, in relation to this, a cache is a group of blocks that logically belong to the disk. They are actually belonging to the disk, which are being kept in the memory for a cause of performance gain. Only for my processing task I am in the main memory. Several algorithms exist and utilized to handle the cache. So there are many n number of programs which are handled with the help of cache, and you can work accordingly with it. The most general algorithm is to make certain about all read requests to notice if the needed block is in the cache or not. So to check whether the block is in cache or not, we can also check that. Then there are some blocks rarely referenced 2 times within a short interval. So a short interval also. Then there is one more we can say algorithm, that is LRU, least recently used algorithm, also can be used for optimization, that is for performance optimization. Next is reducing disk arm motion. Reducing disk arm motion is again a criteria of improving the performance. Apart from caching and block read ahead technique to improve the performance of a file system, other technique is to minimize the total disk arm motion by keeping blocks that are likely to be accessed in succession close to each other, if possible in the same cylinder. In the following ways performance can be improved. So rather than keeping them in different levels, if you keep it in the same cylinder itself and keep the inode busy with one task at a time on the disk, the performance level can be increased, as well as you can improve the storage levels also. How we will see that? If bitmap technique is used to record free blocks and the entire bitmap is in the main memory, then it is simple to select free blocks as close as possible to the previous block. So dependencies of the blocks with each other can be easily relatable, and with which we can also find the technique of bit mapping technique, that is to record the free blocks with it, and which can be generally done through one single cylinder. Grouping of blocks can be done with the free list. So grouping of blocks according to the free list, that is free blocks available, is easy. Now system will keep track of disk storage in groups of consecutive blocks. So what groups we have created, on that basis system will create groups, and on which it will keep consecutive blocks one after the another. If one sector holds 512 bytes, the system could use 1 KB blocks occupying 2 sectors. If it is going for 512 KB, it can go for bytes, it can go for 1 KB blocks, 2 occupying sectors, that is 1 sector, 2 sector, likewise division of each and every sector. Then in this case cache would still use 1 KB blocks and disk transfers would be still 1 KB, but reading a file sequentially would minimize the number of seeks by factor of 2. So they will divide it by the factor of 2. And as well, those systems which use inode like data structures, so those who use inode data structures will, in that 2 disk access, are required to access even a short file. They can go for a short file also, one for inode and other for blocks. For one for inode, that is algorithm, for a attribute, and one for the block of the file. Generally inode resides at the start of the disk. So inode is at the start of the disk, it is not at the end of the disk. Having average distance from its blocks about half the number of cylinders. So half the number of cylinders distance will be there in between the inode and the blocks. Because of this reason, long seek is required. A long seek operation, that is there is no mixture of both. Performance can be improved by placing inodes at the middle of the disk. If you place inodes at the middle of the disk, then also performance levels can be increased. Then other approach to improve performance is to split the disk into cylinder groups. Rather than to split the cylinder groups, each and every group, what we can do is we can improve the performance of the file blocks with its own inodes, blocks and free list. If we are dividing each and every cylinder group, that is sectors, into groups, By giving them an inode block and free list, this performance level can be increased more. Then when creating a new file, and any inode can be selected, but a try is made to search a block in the same cylinder. So try is made rather than making one more cylinder. What we can do is, in that cylinder only you can adjust and try to get those things adjusted, so that performance level can be done, as well as extra hardware is not required. Next is MS-DOS file system. So till here we were going with the normal file systems. Now there are different types of file system for different operating system. The first one is Microsoft DOS, that is disk operating file system. Disk operating file system is the very easiest file system. It just has file name and extension, it has attributes, it has time, it has date, first block number, that's it. So the first version of MS-DOS 1.0 was supporting only a single directory. So what functioning it was for supporting? One single directory system. Beginning from MS-DOS 2.0, hierarchical file system was introduced. So 1.0 was single directory system. When 2.0 came into existence, it started with hierarchy level systems. So root directory could contain many user directories, which further could contain many subdirectories and so on. So hierarchy level could be set from Microsoft DOS 2.0. There are no restrictions on the number of directories or files that may be created. So the system never restricts a user how many files or directories subdirectories could be created in a user directory. It totally depends on the user and the storage. MS-DOS makes open system call to get handle for file before reading that file. So rather than first opening and reading that file, handling the file is also important, that is storage is also important. And when you create that file with a variable size, it is fixed size of 32-byte directory entry. So in MS-DOS you have 32-bit directory entry for a file, that is it starts from naming the file. So when you name the file, the directory entry format goes in file name, that is the actual file name, which contains 8 characters and extension of 3 characters. If it is shorter than 8 and 3 characters respectively, are left justified and padded with spaces on the right in each field separately. So they should be minimum 8 characters and extension should be 3 characters. If not, they are padded by some spaces into the system directly. Attributes, that is the values, descriptions of that file are stored. Attribute field is new and contains bits to indicate the file is read only, needs to be archived, is hidden, or is a system file. So specifying the value or the characteristic of the file is in the attributes, that is it a read only file, is it a archive file, that is save file, is it a hidden file that is not shown to the user, is it a system file which user is not concerned with, the time of creation of that file, what bits it requires, then date of creation of that file, first block number, how many blocks are being achieved into it. Now they can be in the file allocation table. If it is 64K, it is then it is FAT12, FAT16, FAT32 file. Is it multiple of 512 bytes? So all these descriptions are done in the size, that is first block number here. Then the next one is MS-DOS. Again see the block sizes. If it is FAT12, it should be 2 MB, 4 MB, 8 MB, 16 MB. If it is FAT16 file, 2 KB block size contains 128 MB data, 4 KB contains 256. FAT32 contains 1 TB, 2 TB, 2 till last is 2 TB. The empty boxes represent forbidden combinations. These combinations can go on, but they are not into variant. Then the next one is Unix V file system. Now Unix V file system also supports hierarchical system, and it's a directed acyclic graph presentation. Hierarchical system is also called as directed acyclic graph. Unix uses inode method. Inode method is being used by Unix in entering the simple data. In Unix directory entry, there is one entry for each file. For every file you will have a single entry. Then an directory entry has two fields. The directory entry has two fields, a file name and 2 bytes for the number of inode for that file. So whatever inode number it is will be stored in 2 bytes of that space. File attributes in inode includes file size. So when an inode is described, inode describes its file, owner of the file, size of the file, last access, then group, protection, information, and the count of number of directory entries that point to the inode, that each file, how many groups are there of that each file. Count increases or decreases as per establishment. So every count here after each and every file is created, if it is getting incremented, it totally depends how it's increased or decreased in the inode table as it performs on inode. New link or removal of existing link is respectively done. As well as the first 10 disk addresses are stored in inode only. So smaller files having size 10 disk blocks are smaller, and the necessary information can be found directly in the inode. So all the necessary information is found in inode itself. Somewhere it looks like this, that is each attribute is replicated with single indirect block. Each indirect block is relatable to the block of address which are there. So this is the actual formulation for file size. If larger than 10 blocks, one of the address in the inode is address of disk block called single indirect block. So there can be single indirect block also if it exceeds more than 10 blocks in a file. So this is the formulation of Unix V file system. So arrangement of each and every, if it is 32, if it is 26, and the user, each and every directory system is different, then they are stored in different tables. Root directory has all the root users only. So this is end of Unix V file system. The next one is CD-ROM file system. ISO file system is the older version, and also it has all these bits: location of file 8 bits, file size, date and time, CD, file name is basename.txt, and then the semicolon, the version. All these things are there stored in the ISO 9660 file system, the older version of file system. Then it was used in CD-ROM file systems, that is in 1988. All current CD-ROM is compatible with this standard and with this extension. Nowadays all CD-ROM have replicated with this type of file system. There is a single contagious spiral containing the bits in linear sequence. So this has a linear sequential method to be followed. CD-ROMs, in 1 second you have 75 blocks is used to convert it into linear block number. To convert it into linear block number, it's 1 second into 7 is equal to 75 blocks at a time. Then at the beginning, CD-ROM has 16 blocks which can be used for bootstrap program. For booting, it has 16 blocks in the CD-ROM for booting. So all these things are there. Next one is Rockridge extensions. What are the Rockridge extensions? PX for POSIX attributes, NM for alternative name, child location, parent location. So these are the short forms of or Rockridge extensions which are being used to save the files in the file system convention. And next one is Joliet extensions, which have long file names. They do not need any extensions. They have Unicode characters, means you can use symbolic functions as well. Directory nesting deeper than 8 levels. So directory can be hierarchical and it can be more than 8 level. Directory names with extension, you can save directory names also with extensions, is possible in Joliet extensions. So these are the two type of extensions, that is first one is Rockridge and second one is Joliet extension. With this we have ended up with chapter 4. And probably I'll be providing you with chapter 4 assignments also by today within half an hour. So please fill the attendance for this lecture as well as submit the attendance by today night for this the further assignment which I will be providing today. Thank you.